After 2 days at PortAventura, we are now heading to Madrid for Parque Warner Madrid, a Batman Gotham City escape. But first, we've got to get there. So this is our second travel vlog of this trip. So today we're travelling from Salou to Madrid firstly, and then from Madrid train station, Madrid Atocha train station, to Pinto, to our hotel, and then it's on to Parque Warner. So not going to be a lot of talking again, it's going to be more just showing how we go from basically from PortAventura to Parque Warner Madrid, because I really do recommend doing both parks. If you're coming out for one of the new Intermin coasters this year, why not do both? So this is how we're going to do it. It'll be a lot of footage from the train, from the taxi, from the buses, all modes of transport that we're going to be taking today, and then eventually when we get to the next hotel we'll talk about where we're staying, why we're staying there, how we did it, and so on. We've now arrived at Camp de Tarragona, which we couldn't get a bus here to, not at the time that we're travelling. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Sunday service is a thing in Salou, so we've had to take a taxi to get to the train station from Salou. It's cost around €44. So if you are going to book the high-speed train between Salou and Madrid, or Madrid and Salou, I'd probably always make sure that don't do what we've done basically, book a train at a time that's appropriate to get to the station to as well, rather than having to get a taxi, because it has cost a lot of money to get just to this point of the trip. But we're here in good time, and it could have been quite stressful where, you know, we could have been getting, I think it was two or three buses, wasn't it? Two buses to get here from Salou, and there was like 26 stops on one of those buses. So if it had been running late, there's a chance we'd have missed the train, and we'd have got here just in time for the train that we need to get to Madrid. So thought it was worth a mention. If you are going to book the high-speed train from Tarragona to Madrid, it's probably worth checking that you can get to Tarragona first without having to pay 40 quid for a taxi. Pinto station. Now the good thing about this station is if you fly into Madrid and think I'm going to go straight to Parque Warner, well, behind us, just somewhere over there, is a green bus. That bus will take you to Parque Warner, so you can literally get off your plane, get a train from the airport, swap at Chamartin or Atocha, then get a train to Pinto, and then you can get a bus to Parque Warner. It really is that easy if you're flying to Madrid. So that's how you get to Parque Warner. But where should you stay? Well, we're going to walk to the hotel now, do a room tour, and we'll wrap up the video from there. When it came to doing the edit for this video from PortAventura / Tarragona to Madrid, I realised that I'd missed out some pretty key information in my outro that I'd filmed in the hotel in Spain. So I'm going to, well, I'm basically refilming the video at home now, just so I can run through a couple of the things that I did miss in the travel vlog at the time. It was a bit of a hectic day, so that's why I missed out these key bits of information. And to be honest, as soon as we got to Pinto, we literally chucked everything in the hotel room and went straight to Parque Warner. So Then I tried to film the outro of this video on the day just before we were going to the airport to fly back to the UK. More and more excuses, so I'll just get to the point. So the high-speed train, I've got some stuff wrote down on my phone here. So the high-speed train from Tarragona to Madrid cost us €59 per person. Something worth knowing about the high-speed train with Iryo is that they actually allocate your seats when you do the booking. So even though there was 4 of us, 2 of us ended up in one carriage and 2 of us ended up in another carriage, and we were quite a few carriages apart on the journey. So that's something worth knowing, especially if you're travelling in a family of 4 or 5 or 6, or even as a 3. You may find that you get split up. Obviously, if you're booking a 2, it's likely that they're going to put you next to each other. But if you're booking a bigger group than that, they might split you up. So just worth knowing. The other train operator that I've done that journey with, this is going back to 2014, was Renfe. They do still do the high-speed train between Barcelona and Madrid and Tarragona and Madrid. So worth knowing about them too. Once we'd arrived at Madrid Atocha train station, we then had to move on to our next train, to a connecting train to Pinto. Now the high-speed trains go from a totally different area in the station compared to where the more regional trains go from. So we came away from the platform in which we arrived at Madrid Atocha. We then had to make our way more into the main sort of station area, find where the regional trains were, and then get a train from Madrid Atocha to Pinto, which costs around €4.20 each, and it's around a 30-minute journey. Not a bad journey at all. On this particular train journey, there's no allocated seating, but usually there is plenty of seats on the train when you do that journey. It's a journey I've done a lot over the years, so it's not too bad of a journey, that one. Then, of course, once we got to Pinto, we did actually walk from the train station to the hotel. The hotel that we were staying at was the Circatel Princesa de Aboli. I've been staying there every time I've gone to Madrid since 2013. I think it is, and like I say, every time I've been to Madrid or Parque Warner, I've always stayed at that hotel. It's clean, friendly staff, well priced. I think it was £125 a person for 2 nights, so not far off £60 a night. We didn't get breakfast with that. One of the days we did buy breakfast. My recommendation is don't bother. There is a massive shopping complex. Think Walmart in America. Think a big Asda in the UK. There's a massive shopping centre with other shops all next to it, right next to the hotel, where you can get stuff for your room, clothes if you need them, somewhere you can just go for breakfast, your dinner, your tea. It is really handy for it to be right next to the hotel. If you do get a taxi to Parque Warner from the hotel, depending on the route they take you, it will either cost you €20 or €40. We found it was quite the variety depending on which taxi driver we had. Sometimes the taxi drivers took what we'd call the tourist route, and then it ended up costing like €40. And then sometimes we got taxi drivers who took the quickest route and it cost like €15 to €20. The last bit of information in terms of travel is if you decide that the taxi is far too expensive and you'd rather get the bus, there is 2 places you can get the bus from Pinto to Parque Warner that I'm aware of. Both easily found on Google Maps. The one that I would recommend for ease is from the train station. It's either the bus 412 or 413 that go to Parque Warner. It's about a 20-minute journey, cost you about €2 or €3 per person. It is like small buses, so you won't always get a seat on them, but usually they are every hour. There's also another bus station, which is, a bus stop, which goes from nearby to a local McDonald's in Pinto, and that also serves the Parque Warner route as well. Again, it'll be around €2 or €3 per person. So that's all from me in this video. I hope it's been helpful. If you do decide to go between PortAventura and Parque Warner, I'd actually recommend doing Parque Warner first, because I think, even though I think Parque Warner's actually probably got the better rides, I think PortAventura is a better park to visit, and I think if you do it in the other order, you probably get more frustrated, whereas if you do PortAventura after Parque Warner, I think you'll have a better trip. So if you need any further information about travelling between these parks, please do drop us a comment, let us know any information you need, and we'll try our best to help. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up as it massively helps us going forward. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Many thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, which is at Parque Warner Madrid.